It smells like Parfums de Marly is tiptoeing into the Avant Garde. Hey Fragrance family, I'm David and I'm a fragrance bro, of course your best source for everything fragrance related. Today I have a review on Parfums de Marly Layton Exclusif. Of course, if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe down below and click that little bell so you get a notification every time I make an upload. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for this review. I have a full review of the original Layton. If you wanna go watch it, you can go watch it up here. And this one came out last year, and I'm a little late to the party, but I'm really glad to review this one. And this one's had a lot of hype, and I think for good reason, and we'll get to that later. Before we get started, I'd like to disclose that Parfums de Marly did send this to me for review, but it will not affect my review at all. I'm gonna be 100% honest. All right, so let's get started. Date introduced is 2017. It's classified as an Oriental. Notes are bergamot, mandarin, water accord, grapefruit, rose, geranium, water lily, gardenia, civet, cardamom, guaiac wood, sandalwood, amber, pink pepper, vanilla, musk, and coffee. Longevity on this was really good. I would say it was above average, maybe in the excellent range. I would say somewhere between 8 to 10 hours on me, which is really good. Projection was also very good. It was pretty potent. I would say maybe above average on that, average to excellent on projection. Not quite beast mode, but that's exactly where I want it in this case. I think if you got into beast mode on this type of scent, it would choke people out, and that's not what I want for this. Season, I think this is perfect for fall and winter. And purpose, I think this is perfect for formal use and maybe casual, and that's it. All right, so what are my thoughts on this scent? I've been wanting to review Layton Exclusif for a long time, for over a year, and really glad to finally get to this one. This one is a really great addition to the Parfums de Marly line, I think. Of course, I'm a big Parfums de Marly fanboy, it seems. I'm becoming that. And to reiterate, what I really love about Parfums de Marly is that they have a great point of view that is accessible to a lot of people, but is really high quality, and it smells high quality. It's really important to me whenever I wear a fragrance that costs a lot of money, that it communicates that it costs a lot of money. There's nothing worse than wearing a cologne that costs a lot that smells cheap, and sometimes that happens with some niche perfumes. But I've never smelled a fragrance from Parfums de Marly that is like that. Layton Exclusif smells rich right off the gate, and that is exactly what I want from a Parfums de Marly. That's what I expect, and that's what they deliver. I find that the note list is really bizarre because when you look at that note list, you think it's gonna be very floral heavy. Now, I have no reason to doubt their note list, but I always think it's funny to see these really long note lists of a fragrance that is very complex, and you see all the notes and you cannot find one of them. Whenever I see a Parfums de Marly scent with all these notes, or like a Raja Dove type scent, it really communicates that they're just trying to impress people with their note list that this is a very complex scent. That doesn't necessarily communicate to the consumer, I think. I do get a couple of the notes in this list, but I just find it weird they list all those florals and I don't smell any. Now, one thing that I mentioned in my review of the original Layton was that it reminded me a lot of a Thierry Mugler flanker. And I think that's a really good thing because that line is fantastic. And if they made a niche fragrance that smells really luxurious like that, that's a big hit, and Layton was a hit. When I smell the Exclusif version of Layton, I get a similar vibe to the original Layton. I get kind of like that heart of Layton in here, but I smell even more of a correlation to a Thierry Mugler flanker. Part of that connection, I'm sure, is the vanilla and coffee heart that they have in the base there. At the start too is a pretty prominent geranium note. And I guess I have to take back some of my initial statements here. I do get at least one flower in the scent, and the geranium adds a very minty quality. In some aspects, it reminds me of Crypto Mint or Sun Essence in other ways. And in some ways, it reminds me of how Layton pulled me to Pure Malt and Pure Havana. That said, I don't think this is a clone in any way. This goes in a very different direction and has a very smoky start. Whenever I first smell it, I smell kind of like this green, smoky quality that reminds me a lot of Memo Paris's Italian leather. But what I really love about this scent is that it seems like Parfums de Marly is tiptoeing into the avant-garde just a little bit. It's still very likable and still very wearable, but it has a little bit of that avant-garde quality with that very smoky, green accord that is running through. Because of that kind of spicy smokiness that it has, it adds a little bit of intrigue and a little bit of mystery to an already wearable fragrance that makes it a perfect formal scent. This is a knockout formal scent. When you want to wear something that is very pleasant, yet somewhat mysterious, it's really good for that. Now, if you're wondering how this compares to the original Layton, I think that they're somewhat close. There are some similarities there, but there are some differences too. I think the original Layton is a little bit maybe more wearable, more applicable for different seasons and occasions. Layton Exclusif is a little bit more avant-garde. It presses a little bit more boundaries. It's a little bit stronger. It doesn't have as much of the sweetness that the original one did. And it has more of a green type of smoky scent that kind of wafts through. I think if you have the original Layton and you're considering maybe buying the Exclusif, I would say try it. There is a little bit of a difference there, and there's also a little bit of a similarity there. It will depend on how you think that they're similar. If it's similar enough to you, it might be too redundant to buy it. But I think that there is something here that is very unique compared to the other one. I think there are some people out there who might be niche lovers, and they like Parfums de Marly, but they don't love them. Some of what they smelled from Parfums de Marly smells maybe too mainstream for them. But they want something that just presses the boundaries just a little bit more. I think that Exclusif is perfect for them. If you're out there and you've wondered whether Layton Exclusif was good, it is good. It is great. And maybe you're wondering if it's worth it. And I definitely think it's worth it. I especially think this is one of those scents that you want to have that you pull out only on certain occasions to really wow people, because it has that type of wow factor. It's a wonderfully rich, complex scent with some spicy notes from cardamom, with some minty notes from geranium, with some coffee and vanilla and amber in the base, and with that kind of smoky, peppery quality running off the top of there. It's a really interesting fragrance. I think this is a home run from Parfums de Marly, and I definitely think this is something that you should at least try. Bang for buck, this is $275 for a 75 ml. Everyone has different budgets and different perceptions on value and what they would spend on a bottle of fragrance. I will say that it's very steep. $275 for a 70 ml is very high for a fragrance. Is it worth it? Is up to you. But I'll say that it still smells very rich and luxurious, and that is important when you're spending this type of money. You get what you pay for with Parfums de Marly, but you're going to pay for it. So that's just something that comes with the cost of entry with Parfums de Marly. If you want a fragrance that smells amazing, that smells really unique, that's gonna knock people out, but smell really luxurious at the same time, Parfums de Marly has tons of them. Layton Exclusif is one of those. It is just a great knockout scent. It's gonna take a few pennies to get it, but it's worth it, I think. So that is all I have. Have you tried Layton Exclusif? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you like it, love it, hate it? And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'll love you for it. I'll see you next time. I'm Dave with the Fragrance Bros. Bye.